First Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 15. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Yahweh, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. I'd like to say, call on Allah, Yahawashi, Yasharahla, Kakadash, Tabanas to the Apostle Elsewhere, Mosa, Peace, I teach, hope for luck, Shalom. And I'm just title this video, make it a general title, that how, the dead, shall rise first in Yahawashi. The dead in Yahawashi shall rise first, in other words. So that would be the title, because recently dealt with, a member of the main camp. He's the one that brought me into the main camp. He was named Elder Barak Abar, and he was been in the truth for a decent amount of time. He was a brother that pretty much had a good spirit, good heart. He's one that I looked up to a lot, because for the most part, he pretty much looked out for me. He kind of guided me in a sense, made sure I was on the right path. And I report to him, now pretty much that he's gone, I know that he's in a better place. So it's not really, like something that is gonna, weigh me down or so, because ultimately, anytime the Most High takes somebody from this earth and has them to be in the spirit world, they're gonna be rested in peace, of course. And we all know through the spirit that, those that did the works and died, as long as they pretty much, kept the faith and endured to the end, the Lord is going to basically have them to be the first risen in his name, and through the scriptures we're ultimately comforted, because we understand the truth. You see, people in the world, they'll just think that when people die, some people have their mixed beliefs. Some people think that some people that die, are in the grave, that their body is still, on this earth or whatever. Some people think that when you die, you go to hell or you go to heaven. Everybody has their different, beliefs of what happens when you die. But ultimately, through the spirit that, there's something called a spirit world. And this is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 7. It says, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto Yahweh who gave it. That goes to show that those people that die, whether they be pretty much either in the truth or in the world, good or bad, they are going to pretty much give up the spirit, and the spirit goes to Heavenly Father. And where does that spirit go? Well, it tells you in the book of Job, the 3rd chapter, verse 17. It says, there the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. There the prisoners rest together, they hear not the voice of the oppressor. Verse 19, the small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul, which long for death, but it cometh not, and dig for it more than for hid treasures. Rich rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave. So So the spirit world is like a paradise, for anyone that dies. Even Esau himself, as wicked as Esau is, even the wicked elite private bankers that they're gonna be in the spirit world resting too. It's just that you live out your judgment as the Most High puts you, in this body, in this fleshly body. That's pretty much the judgment that you are gonna face. It's gonna be, on the earth, and people think that judgment happens, let's say when you die and the Lord pretty much sends your spirit to hell. Some people have like their vain beliefs and their vain opinions about what they think happens when you die, but that's not really lining up with the scriptures. You see, they're confused, because when you die, you're literally at peace, you're resting. And I just want to speak a little bit about Elder Barack Bar. For the most part, like, I know he was going through an issue where he pretty much had it was some type of it was like a tumor on his arm or something. So I know he had like a lump on his arm, and I remember at one point it bursted and he had to go to the hospital, get surgery for it, and he was doing a little bit better, and he was going through over a decade, I heard, and of illnesses, and it's like, I remember one time he told me he needed to get a hip replacement and some other surgeries that, so it seemed like, he was going through a lot, man. That man was fighting, and he was out there pushing on the highways and byways. He's not like these other, false Israelite camps out there that be going out whenever the weather feels good and pretty much trying to go as far as doing sit downs and just debate videos. Nah, he was really pushing out there when the weather was bad, like when it was like cold, when it was raining at times. He was really in season, out of season. That is a real warrior right there. And he was also going through it, sicknesses and ailments, and he wasn't really fully healed, and he was still pushing. That man is a warrior for real. And yeah, that name Barack Bar means blessed warrior. He most definitely was a warrior, and that was blessed with the ability to fight and endure. And this is let me bring out the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiastes chapter 30. Start at verse 14. It says, "Better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution than a rich man that is afflicted in his body." And of course, on this side, majority of the time, Jake, even if they seem like they're privileged in terms of having money, on this side, you're not really truly rich unless you're a Rothschild or Rockefeller, you know what I mean? So, because, when it's coming to them being wealthy, they have real riches that last for centuries, I'm just saying. And it's best to be in a good, sound in mind than to be somebody who's wealthy and, going through certain physical conditions for the most part. And I'm saying that if you go through any physical conditions, the best thing to do is, of course, serve the Lord, because for the most part, at least the what's going to be on the finish line, for doing the works. Like this elder Barack Bar, for the most part, beloved elder Barack Bar, at least he had something to look forward to now that he pretty much finished the course strong. And the Most High, he didn't want him to go to Jacob's trouble, so he spared him from that. You gotta look on the bright side of these things, because imagine if he had to go through that, the hour of temptation. So he was spared from that. A lot of people gotta understand, there's a scripture in Revelation 12 verse 12 saying that how rejoice those that's in the heaven and that sea, because the devil's come down to you having great wrath, because he had but a short time. You know, and that scripture is not written in vain. It's, you know, dead ass. Like, whoever's in the heavens and the spirit world resting in peace, like, you know, you should rejoice, because that time period where Esau comes down with that great rap, you're going to really, you know, do a whole bunch of crazy shit. Because scriptures say that how in Daniel 12th chapter that this is going to be a worst time since there was a nation, to where Michael the Archangel is going to have to stand up and fight for the elect. And the scriptures also mention how the righteous shall scarcely be saved. So you don't know how the Lord going to put you in a situation and deliver you from it, you know. It's going to be pretty much like situations that look like it's going to almost catch you, make you think that you're going to die like the rest of these people, but then the Lord going to have a way for you to pretty much escape it, you know. I mean, some of the elect is going to taste of death, but not all of them is going to taste of death. So, you know, some of the elect, you know, you're going to have martyrs in this thing. And some of them are going to die before, you know, Jacob's trouble, you know. So, you don't know how these things going to all play out, you know. The Most High knows for the most part. And when we continue on, it says, verse 15, health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. Yeah. So, you having a good body and a sound mind is everything. Because what's the point of you having wealth when you don't have a sound mind, and and your body is not you know, strong, that it's weak? You know, you can't really do much with that. But you see, in the kingdom of heaven, it's like our people, we don't have to worry about any of that shit no more. Because you see, all this shit is going to be on the other nations. They're going to always have to be worrying about going through the, you know, death, going through reincarnation. They're going to always have to worry about getting their asses judged, having a bugged out mind, you know, being plagued with demons, you know, having to go through physical ailments, you know, having to go through bodily pains, aching pains, dealing with, you know, certain sicknesses, you know, the whole nine. You know, they're gonna be going through that. You know what I'm saying? The heathens are gonna always be going through those type of judgments. But the nation of Israel, we ain't gonna go through that no more in the kingdom of heaven. Once the Lord comes back and gives his elect, you know, of course, everything starts with the elect. He's gonna give, you know, the Lord willing, if I'm part of a number of us, that spiritual body, you know, so that we won't have to deal with that. And then the whole nation of Israel, at that point, you know, once the elect, and of course, brings back the 2/3, you know, we're all gonna be pretty much having infinite wealth, having a good state of mind, and a good body as well. That's not bound to this third dimensional plane. That's not bound to the laws of physics. That's pretty much an extraterrestrial body, you know. That's basically what the Lord is trying to help us to achieve, you know, when he comes back. You know, that healing in his wings, as it mentioned in the scriptures. Yeah, he's gonna use his chariots to abduct the elect, you know, and then eventually give us that spiritual body. And for the ones that died, you know, before Jacob's trouble, or died as a martyr in Jacob's trouble, you're gonna be the first risen in Yahawashi. You know, you're gonna be with the spiritual body. And you're gonna be crowned. And I believe in that time, when Esau starts martyring, you know, the elect for their faith, that's when the Lord gonna start doing his crowning. So when his brothers die, he's gonna be crowning them and giving them their spiritual body right there on the spot, you know. And verse 16 says, there is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. Yeah. So That's the most important thing, is the joy of the heart and a sound body, when you're being born and just throughout your whole life. That keeps you in tune with everything, because if you don't have a sound mind, you're just going to be bugged out and you can't think straight. And you're going to surround yourself with people who's just like you in a way. And anyone that tries to help you, you may just go as far as just making them more effed up than you. Because when you don't have a sound mind, the chaos is just a fulfillment of your life at that point. Verse 17 says, death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. Yeah. Because that's what a lot of people need to really understand, is that it's best to die than to go through a physical sickness that you always got to keep battling. Especially if the sickness is causing you to be, like, let's say if it causes certain hindrances to where you can't even walk, that you can't even operate like a normal person, so yeah. And let me bring out this other precept right here. It says in Isaiah 57 verse 1, it says, the righteous perisheth, and no man layeth it to heart. Right. Because you see, no one cares, and I'm talking about people in the world, the ones that really hate this truth, the enemies that's under that anti-Yahawashi spirit, which is 2/3 of our people, and even these other nations as well. They hate brothers that are in this thing. Scriptures say that how they hated him that rebuketh at the gate, right? Because it's a stumbling block to these people. These people think about their feelings, and they care so much about their feelings that they don't care about what's actually going to help them live a better life. And that's why they're in gross darkness, because people that love darkness, they will hate light, and they will hate where the source of the light is coming from. You know what I mean? And that's why they need to be exterminated, because these people are similar to like those house rats that you deal with. You turn on the light, they scatter and they run away. And that's how these people, that's how they look at brothers. They don't want to stand around, they want to flee from hearing the truth, and from the presence of brothers teaching on the highways and byways. And it says, and merciful men are taken away, none considering the righteous is taken away from the evil to come. Right. People probably saying, oh, that's good for them. Like, you gonna have some assholes that want to say, oh yeah, good thing he died, or they're gonna be like, oh, he not a man of the Lord, that's why he died. You know what I mean? It's a stumbling block to these people. They're not gonna lay it to their mind to think that this was a good person teaching on the highways and byways, teaching about righteousness. These people are gonna be satisfied, and they're gonna wish that more brothers die. And you see, the dumbest thing about these people is that here it is, you're gonna be wishing that ultimately we stop teaching on the highways and byways, and then we stop pushing on the internet. But little do y'all idiots understand that you really wish that brothers stop teaching. Y'all don't understand that once the truth is stopped going out on the four corners of the earth, once the message is pretty much prohibited for being spread on the internet and on the highways and byways, once there's a ban to street preaching and teaching on the internet, you best believe that at that point, that's famine of the word. And of course the Lord is going to go as far as just putting continuous judgment out in the streets. It's going to be to the point where you people are going to be wishing that, you know, that you see, you know, the men of the Lord teaching out there, because y'all going to be looking for answers. And at that point, it's going to be too late. And verse 2 says, he shall enter into peace. They shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness. Right. And like I said, you know, for those that, you know, die in the Lord, you're going to have a spiritual body waiting for you eventually at some point. You know, you're going to be resting in peace. And, you know, pretty much got, let's say you're an Israelite, you know, you already got the kingdom coming for you. You know what I mean? But as for Israelites that lived a wicked life, that pretty much died, I mean, yeah, the Most High is up to him if he wants to bring you back to make you die the second death, which is getting hit by the missiles and things of that nature. But other than that, you know, it's all up to the Most High. But nonetheless, if you are Israelite in general, you know, you still have access to, you know, the spiritual bodies and to immortality afterwards. You know, and you're gonna be all right in the kingdom. But yeah, so hope it made lesson edifying. Let's give all glory, praise, honor to Adonai Yahweh, Bashem, Shalom, Malaki, Shah, Bashem, Rakakadash, double honor to the Apostle, Millstone, peace, citation, hope, full, Shalom.